All right, let's talk about something huge that's happening in the business world, maybe even where you work. For what feels like forever, the corporate pyramid has been the go-to blueprint for how to run a company. But that solid structure, it's starting to crumble. Today, we're going to get into why the very way we organize work is being completely rebuilt.
So let's just start with the big question right out of the gate. That classic top-down hierarchy. You know, the one you see on every org chart. Is it obsolete? I mean, is it just a relic of the past that just doesn't fit in the world we live in today?
Well, according to a massive survey by Deloitte, the answer is a pretty loud yes. Over 80% of top leaders are saying that redesigning their organization is a huge priority. And that's not just some minor tweak. It's basically them admitting that the old model is broken. So the real question is, what broke it?
And that brings us right here to the crumbling pyramid itself. Let's dig into the powerful forces that are making these super rigid command and control structures feel so weak and fragile in today's world.
It really comes down to 5 big forces that are all tangled up together. You've got technology changing everything at lightning speed, you have businesses spread all over the globe, and you have a workforce that wants more freedom and more purpose. Everything's way more connected. And all of this is happening under conditions that experts have a name for. It's called VUCA.
VUCA is one of those acronyms that just perfectly sums up the modern world. It stands for volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous. And in a VUCA world, a rigid pyramid isn't a strength, it's a liability. It's just too slow to react when big changes can come from anywhere at any time. What you really need is to be fast and resilient, not stuck in a slow chain of command.
Okay, so if the pyramid is crumbling, what's popping up to take its place? Well, that's what we're calling the new shape of work. And it's all about being agile and networked. Models that are built for speed, for flexibility, and for empowering people.
You know, the big idea behind all these new models is actually pretty simple, but it's totally revolutionary. It's about flipping the script from control to empowerment. The whole point is to make companies flatter, pushing the power to make decisions down to the people who are actually on the front lines. They're decentralized, so you break down those annoying silos and let information flow wherever it needs to go.
And the difference is just, it's night and day. The old world on the left was built like a machine, all about predictable efficiency. It was rigid, decisions came from the top, and information was kept in neat little boxes. But the new world, on the right, it's built more like a living organism, all about being adaptable. It's flexible. Decisions are spread out, and information is shared openly.
Now, this isn't just some idea in a business school textbook. Real companies are already doing this right now. So let's take a look at some actual blueprints from these pioneers, the ones who've had the guts to tear down the pyramid and build something totally new.
What's so amazing here is just how different these companies are. I mean, look at this. You've got Zappos, an online shoe store, with more than 500 teams that manage themselves. Then there's Hair, a giant appliance company that literally broke itself into 4,000 tiny independent companies. You've got Birdzorg in healthcare, with independent teams of nurses. And then Gore, the people who make Gore-Tex, has been running for decades with no bosses and no job titles at all. This just proves it's not a niche thing for one industry. It can work anywhere and at a huge scale.
Of course, a change this massive is never a walk in the park. So let's get real about what it takes to make that leap. Let's talk about the challenges you're going to face and why the payoff is totally worth it.
The obstacles are real, for sure. First up, you've got to deal with people resisting the change because the old way is comfortable. Then you have to build brand new skills. Your leaders need to become coaches, not bosses. Teams have to learn how to really work together. And all of that creates new problems with coordination, and it forces you to completely rethink how you measure success and reward people. It's tough stuff.
But this is the most important part. You can't solve these problems by just drawing new boxes on an org chart. The real transformation, the hard work, is about culture. It's about shifting the entire company's mindset away from fear and control and towards trust, experimentation, and always learning.
And this change is probably the biggest for leaders. Their job completely flips on its head. It's no longer about having all the answers and telling people what to do. As you can see, their focus shifts like crazy. Half their job becomes just empowering other people. Another big chunk is coaching them, and the rest is just clearing roadblocks out of their way.
They stop being the star player and start being the architect of the whole game.
There's a quote from the source material that just nails it. It perfectly sums up this entire shift. Leadership is becoming less about control and more about empowerment. Honestly, if you remember one thing from all this, it should be that. The future of how we work is built on trust and autonomy, not command and control.
So I'll leave you with one final question to think about. Take a hard look at your own company, or even just your own team. Is it built like a rigid pyramid from the last century, or is it starting to look more like an agile network that's ready for what's next? Is your company ready to make the leap?